Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia and not Situation Report. So this is the summary for the day of 792 for the 25th of April, and if you want access to this map, link is in the description. It will be on Defense Politics Asia's website. defensepoliticsasia.com/Ukraine. The map is there. And so we're going to start off with the Kherson Front. So we're going to go clockwise direction, anti-clockwise direction with Kherson Front, and then Zaporizhzhia Front, Donetsk Front, Avdiivka Front, Niu-York Front, Bakhmut Front, Siversk, Kreminna, Svatove, and then Kreminna, Kharkiv. Yeah, so anyway, we're going to start off with Kherson Front. So you don't like whatever front, you can skip, but don't be fronties. So fronties. Anyway, Krinky continues to have fighting being reported over this area here, with Russian forces still reportedly attacking Ukrainian forces holding up at Krinky. So that's all for this area. Nothing much to talk about. And there is the geolocation of Russian artillery shelling over at Kizomysk. So that's about it. That's not something very significant. Over at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant region, we have shelling reported at Mikhailivka, Kapulivka, as well as Nikopol. So we continue to have this kind of shelling being reported in this area here. Always makes me suspect that there is something being brewed by the Ukrainians over on this area here. But anyway, that's all for this area. Over at the Zaporizhzhia Front. So this is Zaporizhzhia, and this is Zaporizhzhia Front. At the Zaporizhzhia Front, we have some fighting being reported. Over at Mali Shebaki. So this is Mali Shebaki. There's some fighting being reported here. Geolocation or FPV drone attacking Ukrainian forces at Pyatikaki. Russian forces attacking at Robotyne. So this is the usual, but none of it is really offensive. None of it is really an assault. It's more like they're just doing fire attack, attacking Ukrainian forces holding up in position. After the Robotyne, there is also fighting being reported near Verbove, with Russian forces continuing to be pushing in this area here. And so that's about it for this area. There is some shelling being reported at Huaypule, according to the Russian Defense Ministry, but that's about it that we know. We move on over at the Donetsk Front. So this is the Donetsk Front. At the Donetsk Front, we have fighting reported at Uruzyne, Staromayoske, Uruzyne, Voleda, Vodian, Novomikhailivka, Boyeda, and Krasnohorivka. So this is the strategic situation we are viewing. Basically all Russian attacking. Ukrainians are on the defensive. So over at Uruzyne and Staromayoski, Russian forces has pushed further in the south a little bit more. So this area is pretty heavily defended. So Russian forces are making slow pushes, whereas they are also making this push at Staromayoski. For those that do not know, there is a crossing across the river of the Mokryali River, where the Ukrainian forces can swap villages. Maybe the cafe here is nicer, then maybe they want to eat some spaghetti around here. But either way, they can actually just cross across each other. So this is a twin village. They need to be captured together. You need to hold both of them, and then you're gonna have a strategic advantage in terms of troop movements. Of course, the Russians already have a Bazania, so they also can just go out and eat lasagna. So that's all for this area here. We move into the south of Preshestivka. There is a geolocation of FPV drone strike being caught in video. Over at Voleda, there is a missile attack on Ukrainian positions within Voleda. Russian support forces are allegedly attacking Voleda over here, as per reported by the Russian Defense Ministry. It could be just fire attack. These two things could actually be the same thing. There is fighting reported in the direction of Vodian, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. We do not know where the attack come from. I'm going to assume it's coming from the east right now. Previously, we assumed it's coming from Mikhailske, but one of the day, there was also a report about fighting near Mikhailsky, which actually invalidates Mikhailsky as the direction. So the direction is likely coming from the south of Novomikhailivka towards Vodian. So over at Novomikhailivka itself, we have fighting being reported in the area of Novomikhailivka. Ukrainian Defense Ministry and Deep State UA both mentioned Novomikhailivka. This comes after Russian forces already captured Novomikhailivka on the 22nd, around 4 days ago. So Russian forces are still in this, still captured this area here. This looks like shit. Yeah, very healthy shit. And then probably they are pushing towards Paraskovyevka from the north. So they're putting this shit on the plate, but we have no information about the shit at towards the plate, because this area here is still a unknown thing. But we previously do have reports of fighting moving towards Konstantinivka, so we will continue to monitor this shit moving towards the plate, and we move up to Bodyeda. There's fighting reported in this region according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. We don't have any information. Over the battle of Krasnohorivka, a lot of news. Of course, fighting is in the southern part of Krasnohorivka, so we zoom in, so it's easier for you to see. So in the southernmost district, Russian forces taken the entire district according to the Russian sources. This is not acknowledged by the Ukrainian side. So we look at this area first, further up north. This is the this is the industrial zone. Geolocation of Russian forces waving their flag at this area here, and the footage of them unloading troops at this position shows that the Russian forces have clear presence right now in this area here, which also validates this Russian claim that most likely the Russians have taken all of this area here. But for conservative reasons, we will just put it as this area here as firm Russian control, with this area continues to be under only Russian claim. Ukrainian forces getting bombarded at this position invalidates this entire area to be under Ukrainian control. Previously, it's listed as possible Russian control because the Russian tank just drove through the entire street. So if we zoom out, so the push is rather significant. If we just believe everything that is being reported, Russian forces have taken the entire southern part, pushed up to the north, have a strong position in the center, and captured the rest of this southern part. Ukrainian forces retake this area here to try to counterattack and push back the Russian forces, but so far it looks rather sad, rather difficult for the Ukrainian forces. And if you look from a general overview, Russian forces is right here right now. So this means that the Ukrainian forces has lost around 20% of the city, around 20%. So Russian forces can now, from this advantageous position, push towards the center or towards the west. They will totally avoid this entire area because this is heavy entrenchment. You can see all these yellow lines. So these are all trenches. So this is a very, very bad situation for the Ukrainian forces. And I have no idea when the military aid is going to arrive at the Ukrainian side. So among the military aids, I'm not so tied up about the equipments, like the vehicles, the Bradleys, whatnot. I think the more important thing is like anti-tank guided missiles, surface-to-air missile system like the Stinger, ammunition, grenades or whatever. I think these are the more important one, the infantry equipments, because you need this sort of thing for defensive purposes. Armored vehicles, of course, important, but they can get taken out rather quickly. Infantry is a bit harder. So I'm tentatively, based on the information that I gotten, I don't think that it has arrived at the front line just yet. So we are at the Avdiivka Front. This is Avdiivka city. The peanut is very far away. Russian forces are attacking over at Nevelsky, Etolove, bombarding Khalivka. They destroyed a bridge south of Mizove. Fighting reported at Umansky. Ukrainian forces counterattack at Semenivka. Russian attack at Bedaichi. They attacked south of Novobakhmutivka. They captured Selovove. They bombard Sokil, attacking at Ocheretyne. Ukrainian forces counterattack at Ocheretyne. Counterattack at Novobakhmutivka. Russian attacking Karamik. Ukrainian forces counterattack at Karamik. So this is the current strategic situation over at the Avdiivka Front. Very it's starting to look a bit complex if I draw it this way, but generally the Russians are actually making this massive push north of these heavy Ukrainian entrenchments. This is the second line of defense that was built after the fall of Avdiivka. The Ukrainian forces spent a lot of manpower trying to hold the Russians over at Avdiivka, Tonenke, and Zhivany. They made this heavy fight over around here to delay the Russian forces so that they can build this heavy defense. But they build this heavy defense, now the Russians are going to go around it. So this is a very problematic situation for the Ukrainians. Russian forces are making, they continue to put pressure on the Ukrainians over in the Umanske all the way to the Nevelske line. This is to draw Ukrainian forces attention towards this area here, make them unable to react to the situation at Ocheretyne. And the thing is that if you don't react to all this fighting at Umanske and Netelove, Russian forces can also push through from this direction and create a second direction, hitting Khalivka, which would then mean this become a two-pronged attack. And that's also bad. There is no good options unless Ukraine can surge more troops into the Avdiivka direction, which they already did previously when they're trying to hold this line. So I'm not sure how much more they have tentatively. The Ukrainian military, there is a lot of this belief that the Ukrainian forces have not enough manpower because they have problem mobilizing. It's not entirely true per se. They have people, they have a lot of men. But you just look at the number of trenches all around the place. All these trenches need to be manned with manpower. Every single street there is every single village or street there's going to be checkpoints. You need a lot of manpower, and you're not talking about defending the border regions. They need manpower to defend the border region, catching people trying to run away from the country, and of course logistic jobs. A lot of people need to be doing logistics, so they have men. But thing is, it is the combatants, the soldiers that are trained to fight, trained to go on to assault, trained to man a trench. I think this is the manpower that they are lacking right now. And so human beings, they have problem with having infantry. And so we go into details. So we have this fighting, as I mentioned already, the significance of this. Now we look at this Burmese dragon or the Thai dragon. There's this horn around here, and then okay, there's a poor drawing. Anyway, yeah. So this is becoming a bit of a significant thing. Russian forces. Okay, we go from the south. Russian forces are hitting south of Novobakhmutivka. This is the exact same situation when the Russian forces attack from the south, from the north of Ocheretyne towards the south, towards Novobakhmutivka. Now they are doing the same thing. Ukrainian forces withdrew again, and we're going to probably see exactly the same situation repeat again if the Russian forces continue to attack south from this area here, and then the Ukrainian forces holding up in this position at Badaichi is going to face the exact same problem where they are facing two different fronts, where the Russian forces are putting pressure at Badaichi. Suddenly, the Russians are hitting you in the rear. So I suspect that the Ukrainian forces may do a withdrawal again in this area here, just like they happened over in the south of Novobakhmutivka. This might be happening because the entire retreat route and a reinforcement route, resupply route is now getting flanked, and this is a currently developing situation. As the Russians are now moving in the rear positions, I think the Ukrainian forces in the front is going to panic, and they're going to reconsider their career choice, and maybe they will go for some meditation in the rear. So over at the Solovyove region, according to the Russian mapping, they have captured Solovyove. According to mapping by Ryba, Russian forces have taken the entire Solovyove, as well as some part of the tree lines in the northeastern part of the village. There is geolocation of the Russians raising their flag in the middle of Solovyove. So this confirms the Russian at least capturing the center of Solovyove. According to the Russian information, Ukrainian forces have actually withdrawn to Sokil in this area here. Sokil, there is a heavy entrenchment around here, so this is going to be a major trench line, at least based on the previous all these pre-mapped trenches. But don't believe all these trenches mapping 100%, because there could be new ones. There could be new ones. So because these are all dated already, the last time I saw all these things maybe half a year ago, so or at least 1 year ago. So these are just good efforts by a lot of these different open source intelligence, looking through the satellite imagery and try to map all this. Mapping is amazing work. I did some of it before. I can't stand it. Like this one is input by myself, so it's gonna be a hard work. Anyway, so the one in the south of Bakhmutivka is reported by the Ukrainians. So this part is by the Ukrainians, but this direction is by the Russians. So this is a combination of both mapping on both sides. So over at this north of Ocheretyne, the latest news, according to the Russians, is that the Russians have captured the entire northern part, and they are now chasing the Ukrainians into Arkhangelsk. And the Ukrainian forces have a major entrenchment around here. Of course, there's another one around here, trench lines. And of course, the village around at Arkhangelsk is unlikely, in my opinion, that the Russian forces is able to hold this position, because this is too stretched out. This is too stretchy. They are too far ahead from the supply line. So, but it looks cool. The Russian map it in this way. So it looks very suggestive, touching this thing, this round thing around here. But this is what is mapped, so I report as it is. But for those that are pro-Russian, no, I don't expect too much from this one. I don't think Arkhangelsk will fall just like this, because there is no way to resupply this quickly. You can't go through the center. So we'll continue to monitor, especially if you consider Ukrainian forces can counterattack Ocheretyne and cut off the Russian forces heading to Arkhangelsk. So over at the Novokalinove region, there is fighting reported at Karamik. You can see Karamik mentioned by the Russian Defense Ministry, and Ukrainian Defense Ministry mentioned Karamik as well. So both sides mentioned about Karamik. So Russian forces may be attacking Karamik from this direction, as per I predicted or analyzed, that the Russians is going to go around attacking Karamik. So this is the thing to take note. Did I see Netalove? No, Novokalinove? No. Okay, good. I'm mapped correctly. So that's all for this Avdiivka Front. We move into Niu-York Front. At the Niu-York Front, we have Ukrainian forces trying to distract the Russians at New York, as well as on the northeast of Novoselivka. This is reported by the Russian Defense Ministry. Both information coming from the Russian Defense Ministry. So the Ukrainians are trying to start a new front or something. Try to draw Russian forces away from the Avdiivka Front. However, this is not going to work. The main reason is because this front line around here is not fought by the. It's not exactly concentrated by this main offensive. The army group's objective is around here. The entire line here, is not going to be affected. They have other troops to do this defensive work, but we will continue to monitor. I mean, if the offensive is not big enough, they are not going to draw Russian forces towards this direction. And we move on over to the Bakhmut Front. In the southern flank of the Bakhmut Front, fighting is being reported at Klishevka, as well as towards Bilahora. According to the Russian Defense Ministry, they mentioned Bilaya Gora. This could actually be just fire attacks, may not actually be some offensive operations. We move into the central flank. In the central flank, we have fighting reported at Ivaniske. Ukrainian forces are counter-attacking over there. Russian forces attacking towards Chasivia direction, and they are also continue to put pressure on Novoye or Novi. There is geolocation of, I think this is an airstrike. Yeah, this is an airstrike on this high-rise building at Novi. So this is the current situation at Chasivia. So according to some information that I have, the Russian lines is actually here, and they actually have reached the canal. So this is based on some my personal information that I get, but I will not map it in because everything needs to be sourced. So again, press the like button, subscribe, smash it with a fab. If you are pro-Ukrainian, smash it with attack M missile. Attack M missile, the like button. So the Russian forces likely already reached the canal region, and then they actually hold some of this forests in this region here. So this is the information that I gotten, but no source in a way that I cannot source it from a public source, so I will not map it in. So, but just take note, according to the Ukrainian mapping, this entire area is gray zone, so it could be anywhere. This is why some like some mappings, they like to put gray zone, because it just gives them a lot of leeway to deciding where the front line is. So I don't do that, because it will just complicate the map, because we already have two maps, the Russian map and the Ukrainian maps. So we move on. So this kind of overlapping is the gray zone in our mapping. We just work differently because we are unique. We are best. Anyway, we move into the Siversk Front. At the Siversk Front, we have Russian forces continue their offensive in their Siversk offensive, with fighting reported at Bilohorivka, Bakhmut Front, Spurny, as well as towards Vimka. Geolocation at Spurny of Russian airstrike, as well as this is a rocket artillery strike over in the area of Bakhmut. And again, I have to highlight how close the airstrike is from the front line. The airstrikes are here. Russian forces allegedly has taken all these positions. The airstrike is being struck at less than a kilometer's distance from the front line. So, and according to certain information that I saw on X, it seems like the Russians are now, the individual units on the ground, they are defending certain front line or doing offensive actions. When they call for support, fire support, sometimes the fire support didn't come as a form of artillery. Sometimes it comes in the form of an airstrike. So it can be, so the Ukrainian war basically trained the Russian in the NATO style of warfare, which is the close air support kind of thing. Which is such a terrible idea, to train Russia into learning how to fight modern warfare. So I really do not know what the West is doing. Like, why are you strengthening their enemies by giving them training, by giving them a Ukraine to fight and train, like a sparring partner? If you want to crush the Russians, send in the NATO troops. Just play the superb game of chicken and see whether Russia will chicken out. If not, then you just fight a war that you say that it's going to come either way. Don't. They kept feeding Ukrainians with such little bit of weapons and insufficient support. There's no air force. Like, there's no clear air force right now in the Ukrainian side. There's no attack helicopters. They are asking Ukrainians to train the Russians. This is exactly what we are seeing right now, and I really don't like it. It's really dumb. Anyway, Russian forces attacking through the Siversk forestry. They are attacking Korske. They are attacking towards Zaporizhzhia, and they are also attacking Terny. So this is the current situation over at Kreminna. So some people told me that I should move the map a bit to see Liman. So this Liman, or Krasny Liman, also known as crispy lemon. So Kreminna over here, crispy lemon over there, yeah. So anyway, this is the current situation over at this front line. There's nothing much else to talk about other than it's getting a bit hot around here, but we don't have footages coming out from this front line. So maybe the commanders around here is very disciplined. They don't allow footages to go out. So we do not know what's the extent of the situation around here. But north of this place is not the same. Over at the Svatove Front, we have Russian fighting at Berestove, attacking Stemerkivka. They're attacking towards this place called Druzhelubivka, as well as attacking towards Makievka. At the Makievka, we have a helicopter strike, guided missile strike being geolocated. So this is the current situation. Previously, we have Russians attacking in the area of Zdolivbove, yeah. And and also at this this area here. Previously, they were attacking through the center, Nadia. So now they are just probing everywhere. I suspect this might be very suspicious. No, this actually is very suspicious. Not sure if this will develop into something more. So we will just continue to monitor and see how this develops over at the Svatove Front. And over at the Kreminna Front, Kupyansk Front. At the Kupyansk Front, we only have fighting being reported at Khyslivka, according to the Deep State UA, the pro-Ukrainian source. At Glushkivka, there is shelling being reported by the Russian Defense Ministry. And that's about it from the Kupyansk Front. And we move into the border regions. We have nothing being geolocated around here, and that's about it. So this is the situation report or the summary for the day of 792 for the 25th of April. So do press the like button, subscribe, share. I know this may be if you watch to this point, of course, it's kind of pointless to say, but of course, this is very different from the frontline changes report. This is very detailed. We go into details into all the different frontline, and people complain it's very long. I know it's 25 minutes, but know what you want me to do? Do you want me to censor certain information or cut out information? What information is pointless? Like, no, you can't really cut out much. So no, it is what it is. I try to do my best. If it's long, then it's long. Like, I remember the days I used to do 40 minutes, 45 minutes, 50-minute videos on a daily basis in the first few months of the war. In fact, most of the first half a year of the war. The videos are all 40, 50 minutes because there was even more fronts. There was the Northern Front, we have a Kharkiv Front. So, which is double the length of the front line right now. So of course the videos is twice as long. So now it's 25 minutes. Previously it was 40 minutes because it was twice as long. So the video was twice as long. So I don't there's no way to shorten this, but it is what it is. The people who complain wouldn't be watching this part. So I'm just ranting. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next update.